Gielinor, the magical world of RuneScape. It's divided into chunks for easy use. Welcome to Chunkman Dead Die Kill, the series where I conquer the landmass of Gielinor by doing tasks and unlocking chunks. Last episode we unlocked 3 more chunks by completing 3 quests. Those quests were the fishing contest, the dwarf part of Recipe for Disaster, and lastly the hand in the sand. Our map expanded with the main Yanel chunk, the chaos altar in the wilderness, and the top left chunk of the lava maze also in the wilderness. Today we start off with the last quest on our list after unlocking a ton of good chunks. The next quest we are able to do is the last on the Karaunja island, and it is Shiloh village. We cannot get into the Shiloh village as there seem to be some monsters in here, so let's talk to Mossel Ray here just outside of the village. Mossel Ray says that the village, Shiloh village, is covered in a green mist which is poisonous, and this is because Rashilia is back, the queen of the dead, and brought with her all of these undead ones, and Mossel Ray has currently trapped them by using this card, and he asks us to give the wampum belt here to Trufitus to make sure we can get some help from him. So let's go to the Taibuwanai village and talk to Trufitus. Giving the wampum belt to Trufitus gave him an accurate assessment of the situation in Shiloh village, and he says the legend of Rashilia has been lost to time, and the only place he knows that has any information on her would be Azarun. The thing is, Azarun is a city which was lost a while ago, and the only real hint we have is that it was built between 2 bodies of water. And if we just use the quest helper, of course, we know it is here. So let's go there and let's see what we can find there. If we reach the location, we can see there is a lot of water surrounding this part, and we have a mound of earth, and it seems like there's something buried under here. So let's bring on our spade and let's see what we get. We uncovered a fissure, but it's really dark there, so that's why we have our torch here. And now to get in with the rope. And there we are in a kind of a tunnel. Let's see what we can find here. There are also some undead ones here. So it seems like we are in the correct spot. We can find several things here, but mostly it's broken things like this smashed chair, a smashed table, and over here on the strange looking stone there's a plaque, and we cannot read the letters, but maybe Trufitus can decipher them for us. So let's separate the plaque from the rock with our chisel. There we go, a stone plaque. At the end of the dungeon we see that there's a waterfall here, and that's probably our exit, but let's not tempt fate, let's keep searching the cave here instead. The only 2 things we can actually interact with is this smashed table and this cave-in. As this cave-in seems to be the most useful as we could get to another area, let's search the cave-in here. And here we go. That's the next area where we can see some broken walls, so this does seem like the remains of a city. A bit further on we see some loose rocks here, so let's investigate. And we get a scroll, a tattered scroll. The scroll is about Bervirius, the son of a king, but his mother is someone who we know is Rashilia. The son died, and because Rashilia was so devastated, she swore fealty to Zamorak if he would return her son to her, but Bervirius returned as an undead creature, like we see over here, all of the undead ones. And because he was going rampant into the city, they had to kill him, burn him, and then lay his spirit to waste in a temple near the water on the water level, which is the only way to defeat these undead ones. So that's already a very good clue. Let's keep going in the dungeon here. A bit further on we see another pair of smashed chairs and some old sacks. Let's see what we can find here. Another scroll. This scroll speaks about Rashilia's rage after the death of her son, and apparently there was only a possibility to be protected by a necklace ward to keep her away from them. And then at the other end of the cave we find some ancient gallows. The text here seems to indicate that there is a corpse hanging from the noose, but I don't really see it. But we could remove it to see if it has any valuables. The remains seem to be Zedimus's corpse. Not sure who Zedimus is yet. But I think with all of the information, like this stone plaque, the 2 scrolls and the corpse, we might as well go back to Trufitus and ask him if this helps him in any way. While we were away, the situation with Raishilia has become a lot worse, so we need to hurry. And when we talked about Zedimus's corpse, Trufitus just said it needs rest in a holy ground, and that's about it. Not really talking about who he is. So let's just bury him, I guess. Just in front of this tribal statue. And there we have the spirit of Zedimus appearing in front of us. Zedimus said that we are looking for a way to dispel the magic of the one who killed him, which is probably Raishilia then. So maybe he was the murderer of her son, and he gave a bone shard together with a kind of riddle. So let's ask about all the other things to Trufitus, and then let's see what we can do next. Trufitus says that Raishilia only had one kin, and that was her son Bervirius, and he is buried in the Cairn Island. So we might have to get something belonging to her son to be able to get near her. And Zedimus apparently was the priest who built the Temple of Azarun. Here on Cairn Isle we can find some well-stacked rocks, so that seems to be the grave of her son. So let's search them. And we can apparently go into an underground section. And there we can find the tomb dolmen. Let's search what we can find here. And we found a sword pommel, a locating crystal, and a note of her son Bervirius. These notes have 3 different parts, and one speaks of where Raishilia has been buried, which is just north of Azarun itself. The next one talks about some crystals that glowed near her tomb. And then something of a ritual. This sword pommel was probably used by her son, and as we need something to be able to get near her, this should be really useful, but let's make it into something that's actually wearable. So let's use our chisel on it, and we get some beads, and with those beads and a bit of bronze wire, we have the beads of the dead. From all of the notes and such, we know that the grave of his mother Raishilia was north of Azarun, so Azarun is here, and somewhere north of there we can find some palm trees here, which seem to be hiding some doors, which we can then search to get in. And the lock is made of bone, so we have a bone shard from Zedimus. Let's make a key out of it, and let's get in. Here we can find some more dead ones, and let's see what we can find over here. Apart from a lot of dead ends, the only thing we can find is some tomb doors, and there is also a tomb dolmen here, so that should be the grave of Raishilia. The door is closed shut, but we can see that there are some bones missing in the drawings on the door. There are 3 bones missing. So let's use some of the bones we have here in our inventory to fill up the gaps. And that opened the door. Time to search the tomb. And that doesn't bode well. There we have Nostarul, not sure who that is, but as it is an undead, let's just cast some crumble on that until it dies. And there we go. And it seems to have another form. Okay, let's try the same thing, I guess. And that's him down for a second time. And there he is for a third time. Surely that would keep him down now, killing him 3 times. And that brought Rashilia's corpse up on the dolmen, so let's take that. One of these scrolls said that Bervirius, as he was resurrected by Zamorak, when he died once more as an undead one, the only way to put an undead one to rest would be to bury him in this tomb here near the water. So we might as well do the same thing with Raishilia, as she is also a kind of spirit now. So let's use her corpse on the same dolmen as her son. And there she appears as a ghost. And with freeing her, this is the end of the quest. We get 2 quest points, access to Shiloh Village, and 3875 crafting experience. With Shiloh Village now unlocked, we have some extra things here we can now use, like the bank here. We also have now the possibility to mine gems in the gem mine here in Shiloh Village. But why I actually came here after the quest is because you can sell all of these things we got during the quest, and we can sell it to Yanni here. He will give us money for all of the items because he buys antiquities, and pretty much everything we found in the caves is antiques. And as we don't really have any more use of all these items, might as well sell them for a small profit. And there we go. That's a bit more money. But either way, this was the Shiloh Village quest completed, which means another quest completed, which means another task completed and another chunk to pick. Another quest down in a long list of quests we have done now. This was Shiloh Village completed, which was our 80th quest, and we now have 236 landmass chunks unlocked now. And then back to our map. The last chunk we unlocked was the last part of the lava maze with the entrance to the King Black Dragon, and all of the other chunks, the adjacent chunks, were already unlocked or unlockable, so nothing really changes here. If we would unlock 41 here, so the chunk next to the King Black Dragon's lair, that will give us the possibility to do the full easy Diary of the Wilderness. If we will do it and risk the hardcore status, that is something to be seen, but we'll only have to worry after we get that chunk, of course. For now, let's see what chunk we are going to get. Let's see what the chunk picker will give us. Let's pick a chunk. Okay, and we get the rest of Narda. A speck of land they added with the rest of the desert expansion, but that does not really do much for us. We've had an unbelievable streak of luck, and there were a lot of quests to be done because of all of those unlocks, but for now we actually reached the end of all the questing. It was a nice run, but on one hand I am a bit happy that we can do something else now, and I really want to check how difficult it would be to get more medium caskets. The medium caskets have a lot of really interesting items, and we would need 9 caskets more to get to the 10 mark. For that I will be catching a ton of eclectic implings. We currently have a nice head start because we have 110 eclectic implings in our bank. And I'm going to go to 1000 before we start any of the medium clues. I don't think the medium clues will be possible without juggling, so we will have to juggle 2 at the same time, so this will be perfect if we have a ton of eclectic implings in our bank. One quick pit stop before we go and collect all of the implings. We are currently 52 hunter, which is our lowest level, and because we did a lot of quests, we can now do our Tears of Gutix again. So let's do that and see if we get a level. And that's going to be 87 tears used on the hunter skill, which gives us 53 hunter. So the 1 hunter level will help a little bit in catching the eclectic implings. That's all of the impling jars we are going to need. And we currently are almost 54, so that's definitely coming up. Only 100 eclectics caught, but that's already 54 hunter. And we need 522 for the next level, so we'll definitely get 55 as well. And there we have 55 hunter. We need 600 more, so that won't be another level. So let's see each other when we have the last of the eclectics caught. And there we go. 4.69 million worth of eclectic impling jars. 1056. Before we are going to open all of these eclectic impling jars, we still have a medium clue in our bank. And I was keeping hold of this because we are at 2 steps on this medium clue scroll. And the step is to kill a man just in Yanel, and that's one of the chunks we just unlocked. So we're going to complete this one entirely, or hopefully entirely of course, and then see to juggle 2 clues at a time. And then maybe one more interesting fact is if you, for example, go and look to the map with the medium clues, I swapped all of the easy clues for medium clue steps, and here you can see every chunk we have unlocked on our mainland where there is a step for a medium clue step. These all amount to about 107 steps which are completable. Some things not taken into account, this is just the chunks we have unlocked, but for example there are 2 steps here in West Ardoin, and we cannot actually get into West Ardoin yet, but we do have it unlocked. So there are probably some steps we cannot do yet. So we have about around 100 completable steps. For all of the chunks we are missing, we are fairly close actually. So the observatory, castle wars, and the bigger ones here with 3 steps each are the gnome strongholds. And those amount to about 30 other clue steps we cannot do. Then of course we have the soul step here on Fossil Island we cannot do. And then on Zea on the other side there are also quite a few steps here, and that amounts to about 17. So if you count everything together, I'd say we have about 50 steps we cannot do and about 100 steps we can do. So about 2 in 3 steps we can do. Unlocking a few of these really interesting chunks would be very beneficial for us, but for now this is what we are going to have to work with. And sadly at the 3rd step we have to drop the clue already. Shazian is one of those steps that is very far away. On to the eclectic impling jars. We have 1056, so that means we have about 40 clues here, and hopefully that's enough to get the 9 caskets we need for the next task. So let's open them and hope we get a clue pretty fast. There we go, about 100 eclectic impling jars opened now, and we have 3 clues. This one is possible, Frankenstein's castle. And then this one, which we opened second, is not possible. We have the fairy ring, but we don't have that one. So we're just one chunk away. So that one is a full drop. And then the other clue we have is in the desert mining camp, which is going to be a little annoying to get to, so might as well do the Frankenstein step first. At start, this one is southwest of Castle Wars, so that's immediately a drop, and let's hope we can get a few more steps out of our second clue. And that's our first casket, so we got a little more lucky with our second clue, and that's pretty much why we are juggling 2 clues at a time. This is going to give us a way bigger chance to get the casket in the long run. So 1 casket obtained, 8 more to go. Next clue juggle, we have 2 on the ground here, where 1 is a relica, which we cannot do. The other is a music track we are missing, so we do have Falador Park chunk, but we don't have the Catch Me If You Can, as this is from the Ardoin Red Pits, and we don't have the quest done yet. So that's a big shame to have to drop 2, but the other 2 are possible, so north of the nature altar, and the other one is not that far away from here, and that's north of Drainer Manor. Had to drop the first clue at the first step again, but the second clue always comes through. We're on step 3 of this clue, already had to drop the first one, and we need to go to the dig site and we need some snakeskin boots. This is now possible as we have the Taibo 1 cleanup activity where the snakes give snakeskin. So we're going to do that for a bit, and we'll make 2 pairs. So 1 pair for the clue here, and then 1 for ourselves, as this is going to be an upgrade for our ranged gear. Our frog leather boots should just be a little worse than the snakeskin boots. Maybe later on we'll have the possibility to make a snakeskin bandana as well, as this should be better than the coif, but I'm not sure if we will ever use it. Okay, this is taking a bit longer than I expected. We got to 100% favor, which is a medium task here in the Gramjo area. And we actually got a gout tuber and 5 snake hide. We need 1 more for the boots, and I'm just going to leave it at 1 pair of boots, as this is just taking too long and I want to get back to the clues. This hurts a bit to see. We have 4 clues we cannot do and 2 we can, so if we get a casket, this is 1 out of 6 medium clues, which is pretty bad. But let's go and get this medium clue. We are currently at 4 caskets. And there we have the 9 medium reward caskets. Out of all the impling jars we opened, so we opened 823 and we got 46 medium clues, which is actually very lucky, as we should get 1 in 25, so we're pretty lucky to have this many medium clues from all the eclectics. Still, 9 caskets, 46 clues. We still need a lot of the map to get a better chance at some medium caskets. This is definitely a step up from the easy caskets and the beginner caskets. Let's go to our collection log. We only have 1 medium clue completed at the moment, but we did get a unique, a metal plate body. And pretty much we're looking for, I think all the boots would be great. The miters, the cloaks, the stoles, the croziers, I think all of those would also be good for the prayer bonus. And that's about it. So some prayer items and some probably best in slot items with the boots, with ranger boots being the best, of course. Let's hope we get something out of these 9 caskets, but let's see. The first casket is going to be... nothing special. And then we have an adamant blade body, heraldic 4. That's a new unique and a duplicate ancient page. Another 2 crap. And another one. And another one. And nothing interesting here either. Nothing interesting here either. And that's it. Wow. Only 1 unique out of 9 caskets. This was quite sad actually. I was thinking we were at least getting a few uniques, maybe one of the uniques we wanted, but only the adamant blade body here. A bit of a disappointing opening, but we did not do it for the uniques, of course, or not only for the uniques. We reached the milestone of 10 medium treasure trails. Let's go finish that task on our spreadsheet and then let's see which chunk we are going to get. After a lot of questing, this is our first clue task back again after all of the easy clues that we finished. This was our second medium clue task. After the 1 medium clue, we opened 10 medium clue caskets, which is our 46th clue chunk, which brings us back up to half of the clue tasks done and up to 237 landmass chunks unlocked now. And then back to the map we go. The last chunk we unlocked was the other part of Narda, where it just rounds down before the ocean, which doesn't actually have anything in it. So this was a quite bad chunk, but this doesn't really change much as everything otherwise was already unlocked. There are a lot of chunks which would unlock clue steps, so getting one of those or another quest would all be great, but let's see what it's going to be. Let's pick a chunk. And we get the lower part of Meyerditch instead. As we cannot get here, this is quite useless. That's going to be all for this episode. If you liked seeing me drop a bunch of medium clues, a like and a subscription would be appreciated. We finally finished all of the quests after unlocking all of those good chunks. Time to go back to some other tasks, and as we've seen, medium clues will definitely be an interesting way of getting more chunks. Next week we continue our adventure and unlock more of the map. Have a good one and see you in the next episode.